there, it's Kevin with GatheringMagic.com with match number 1 with the Frontier Goggles. Yes, we'd like to play first. This is a risky hand, but I do think it's keepable. It only has one early removal spell, but we have a decent curve. Chandra, we have a spell that we can cast with the Goblin Dark-Dwellers. We have all the lands that are sufficient for what we need to do. We'll just lead off with the Smoldering Marsh and pass a turn. We're also on the play, which makes Lightning Strike really good against a 1-drop or a 2-drop at this point. So I'll ignore the 1-drop if it's something that I absolutely can't ignore. But if it's something like a Toolgraphed Exemplar, I probably have to take care of it, or a Monastery Swiftspear. So we have a Mountain, and it's a Foundry Street Denizen. That will be something I will Lightning Strike, as we do not have a... Yeah, I think it's we need to Lightning Strike it. It does a lot of damage early. If he goes Dragon Fodder, yeah, we can definitely leave this untapped though. I probably should have just went a fetch land here rather than a Battlefield Forge. If my opponent just misses, I don't know. If he casts like a Pile Driver, I'll kill a Pile Driver. Dragon Fodder, so we'll strike the Foundry Street Denizen. This matchup can be hard. Game 1. Game 2, of course, we bring in the hate cards, Virulent Plagues, the Authority of the Consuls. Alright, so here we'll just play the Wooded Foothills because it's less versatile, and we'll go grab the other Smoldering Marsh, and then we'll have all of the... Why it's less versatile is you can only get a mountain. These can go get the swamps. So the double Chandra is neat because we can use it to either tick up and then absorb 5 damage, which probably is the right play. I think I'd rather do that. So Rabblemaster is incredibly... We'll kill the Rabblemaster next turn with Chandra. So he'll have 3 goblins left over. We do have some pretty decent time. I'm only taking 3 damage here. The fetch lands are weird because we are going to take damage every time we fetch, which we most likely will have to do next turn. So I'm down to a 16. But we do take care of the Rabblemaster, plus we a force attack into Chandra. So it did get value. We draw another fetch. I'm going to go ahead and just go get probably a mountain. We have the black sources are perfectly acceptable. We have plenty of them. And then we'll Chandra and kill off Rabblemaster. But we do have Dark-Dwellers the following turn. So there's Rabblemaster 1. If you cast another Rabblemaster, there's 3 damage to our face, but the Goblin Dark-Dwellers will be able to get back a Lightning Strike, which will take care of the second Rabblemaster. So you can see how Authority of the Consuls is going to be beautiful versus this matchup. This is definitely something that we could lose. Kolaghan's Command is pretty good. I could Kolaghan's Command and then save for another one because that's 2 cards. Kill, discard a card. I think the right play, though, is just to get the Goblin Dark-Dwellers out. It is getting scary for even cards like Trumpet Blast. I've seen lists that just... I mean, this could be just a very budget list. But we'll kill off the second Rabblemaster. He's losing a lot of high-impact cards. I mean, there's 2 of them that we've taken care of. And the Rabblemaster does want to hit. We are down to an 11. I still think my opponent just keeps swinging in. Next turn, we do have a Chandra into a Kolaghan's Command. Our opponent also is down to 3 cards. See if there's a third Rabblemaster. Stoke the Flames on the Goblin Dark-Dweller. It absorbed 4 damage, though, so that's good. If you got a Reckless Bushwhacker, a Mardu Scout. Mardu Scout makes things a little more tough to deal with. As there's another Kolaghan's Command. So Chandra into Kolaghan's Command could kill off a goblin, make him discard a card, then we lose. I think we just have to keep Kolaghan's Command back. If we make him discard a card, kill, discard a card, kill. We're at mercy of top deck. I kind of want to get back a... Yeah, I'd rather do this right now. See if there's a relevant... card in hand. And it's just a mountain, so that ends up being kind of a bust. So we can actually kill off, discard a card. We'd go down to 1. We'd get rid of, but we'd get back the Goblin Dark-Dwellers. And I could kill and discard a card, and then we'd be down to a 3. And we could kill one with Chandra. 4. We'd be down to a 2. And that'd be at the mercy of a top deck. Most likely is not going to be a match we can win. But I can try to think what's more relevant. I think getting back a Dark Dwellers and killing off. That puts us down to a 1, though. And then I don't think that we'll have enough to... So I need to do this right now, unfortunately. But most likely, I don't think I can quite finish this off. The sideboard cards are pretty necessary for this particular match. So we're going to do the same thing. And we will need to top deck into something crazy good and have our opponent not top deck into something. There's so many cards to just win the game for him here. Lightning Strike, Wild Slash, even a Reckless Bushwhacker would have won the game. Well, that's one of the cards that is super good. This is weird to do this, to go down to a 1. Can I somehow stabilize? So we do need to kill off one of the goblins. And we go down to 1 life with the Soulfire Grandmaster. So if our opponent just didn't have anything good in hand, like just drew into a mountain, we actually... And then here a... See, Frenzied Goblin actually doesn't work. So I need to draw a spell. We do have the access to getting a card off the top with Chandra. So hopefully this hits something. Not a land. And it does hit an Incendiary Flow, which was huge. And it kills off the Frenzied Goblin and puts us back up to a 4. I'm going to keep the Inspiring Vantage in my hand. I don't think there's a point to it. Whoops, we should have, I messed, oh no, yes, I messed this up. I could have bought back the... I think I actually attack in to gain the life. So I could have bought that back. This puts me up to a 6, which I still think my opponent just has a land in hand. So I'm going to play the Inspiring Vantage. Yeah, I could have bought that back with the Soulfire Grandmaster. So huge mistake on my part. Yeah, so there's the land. Highly doubt you can do 6 damage. You should attack into Chandra here. So I'm absorbing a damage. Nope, attacks into me. So it can get down to Stoke the Flame. So 1 unknown card in hand. Crackling Doom is huge. We can actually buy it back. So I might just add the mana and then buy it back. Because that does allow for another use of it? No. Because that's enough to buy it back. That's a use. And then, but we're out of... I think I'd rather just exile a top card of my library. Ends up being a mountain. So I'll attack in with the Grandmaster. And we can still buy this back, though, on his turn. But I'm going to wait for more significant card. Like, what he needs is like a Reckless Bushwhacker and Hordling Outburst, but I think this is going to gain me 2 life and kill one of them, and then it only does 2, 4, 6, 8. So I think we've pretty much got this game locked down. So Lightning Strike on the Soulfire Grandmaster. In response, I will Crackling Doom, because that life is very relevant. And now it's 9-12, with my opponent drawing pretty much dead. Shambling Vent's actually a decent card. We'll keep ticking up Chandra. We can cast anything here. It's a Bloodstained Mire. That's fine. Pass the turn. And now Shambling Vent is something that can be activated without life. 4 mana. It looks like, does he have to stoke the flame as Chandra? I think he has to go at Chandra here. Yes. Okay, so this allows for Shambling Vent to start getting in there, which gives me some padding with the Wild Slash. So we'll activate Shambling Vent. And get down to an 8 and an 11, which now we have a lot of padding. Whew! Barely pulled this one off. This is a decent hand. My opponent did get mana flooded and didn't draw the right cards. See, if these cards would have came out of sequence, we would have lost. But after this dies, I can definitely see a concession. This is one of the cards that's worthwhile to kill off. Incendiary Flow is kind of a weird card here. It can finish off the game next turn, though. Down to a 6. And 13 is our life total. Dragon Fodder, again, is something I'm not too worried about. It should get a block off the Shambling Vent, but we could just win the game with like a Lightning Strike, or a Goblin Dark-Dwellers actually wins the game here. So we'll flow him, and then Goblin Dark-Dwellers for an Incendiary Flow. And that's that. So onto the sideboard, it gets a lot more rough for my opponent, because we'll bring in the Kalitases. Traitor's Claw's okay. We'll bring in the Radiant Flames, of course. Hallowed Moonlight's kind of funny because it does affect a lot of my opponent's cards. I do like Collective Defiance, even though it's sorcery speed. Incendiary Flow will bring in like everything possible to slow down my opponent, which is going to be the Authority of the Consuls, going to be Virulent Plague. So 9 cards would have to come out. I think that Crackling Doom is actually the weak link here. It's pretty bad. It does affect like the Goblin Rabblemaster to a point, but it can pretty much instant speed. It might just be better than Collective Defiance. Yeah, I think Collective Defiance ends up being like too awkward. Maybe even Traitor's Claw, because we want things that can do. Nahiri's awkward because he could be bringing in the cards, the enchantments, the impact tremors. So if Impact Tremors comes in, I'm going to go down to one of Pyromancer's Goggles. I think and it's a one of Nahiri. And I think this is probably the right cards to combat this. Traitor's Claw is still iffy because I can cast Traitor's Claw for 2 and it still deals with the... No, it'd usually be 3, so I think that it'd be just weaker than most. So I'll go ahead and submit this. We don't have any of these. I think this is a mulligan hand. I think it's just too slow. I do like it, has all of our sources, has a Chandra, but we can this is the hand that just gets run over. This is much better. Much, 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 much better. Authority of the Consuls just stops him in his tracks. At least gains a life for every creature in a go wide type strategy. We want to see some value off of the Soulfire Grandmaster, so I will be very aggressive with throwing... Nope, not gonna... We're gonna put that one on top of our library. That is definitely a hate card. So let's see if it's a Foundry Chute Denizen. It will get in there for some damage, but the Authority of the Consuls will give us, again, a lot of padding. Didn't even have to do a damage to ourselves either. Miserable card for our opponent to deal with. Could still push through. It's very... Impact Tremors. So, Impact Tremors is a card that I thought could easily come in. So we do have the Nahiri for that. Ooh, that's a beautiful card to draw into. Now this gives our opponent kind of an awkward turn 3. Does he want to kill the Soulfire Grandmaster, or does he want to try to have some Impact Tremor damage? Virulent Plague will 100% get rid of. These are kind of redundant, Authority of the Consuls and... See if he stokes it. Rabblemaster, that's actually nice because they... That's cool. Impact Tremor is getting completely shut down by Authority. Do I make this trade, though, with the Foundry Chute Denizen? I actually think I do. Because next turn, the Goblin Rabblemaster only attacks in for 3. No, I think I just attack with the Soulfire Grandmaster. I think that's actually better. To make him actually have a way, force a way for him to deal with the Soulfire Grandmaster. There's a Chandra, that's fine. I could cast another Soulfire Grandmaster. This gets scary. I think I have to play the Plague here, though. So I'm going to go Battlefield and play the Virulent Plague. So he gets +2 for each, +1. I'm okay with taking some damage here rather than getting some... Because if he draws a burn spell, it just kills Soulfire. And we'll kill the Rabblemaster next turn. Outpost Siege, naming cons. Actually naming cons rather than dragons, so... Yeah, that's okay. It's going to give him card advantage. I'm going to be taking 5 here, going down to 13, but I will be able to take care of the Chandra, and then keep back the... Yeah, especially with this secondary Chandra. Unfortunately, we do have to lose a life here. I still believe I attack him with Soulfires. Do I? No, because the Impact Tremor can be used to redirect. Love to find a Nahiri. Mountain with the Outpost Siege. 2 cards in our opponent's hand. Lightning Strike is huge. And into Chandra is also pretty relevant. But there's Nahiri. And interesting, where do I go here? At the Outpost Siege, for sure. I think the Outpost Siege is the only way our opponent gets back in this. And still at a 14, and now our opponent has to decide where to attack in. There are a lot of cards that just don't do anything. Impact Tremors does work off of the cards entering the battlefield. So if he does cast like a Hordling, an Exquisite Firecraft. And it does go out Nahiri though, so Nahiri just absorbed 4 damage. And only going to take the 1 off the Foundry Street Denizen. So I actually think Chandra is better here. I'd like to draw just a source so I can do both. Ooh. Unfortunately, I don't have the mana. So we'll Chandra. And a Battlefield Forge is fine. We don't want that card. A lot of relevant cards we can draw into at this point. Now if he redirects damage with the Impact Tremor, though, we are going to be net up. I think my opponent needs to go to the face with the Denizen. Yeah, I agree with that play rather than to Chandra. Because the only way is just to top deck in a bunch of burn spells. But we have the Caves, which is just absolutely huge. I think that we just add mana. Because this allows for casting both. And the hate cards are real. He's using Exquisite Firecraft. Stoke the Flames was his way that he's going to try to find a way out of this situation. Again, the Impact Tremors is 100% being countered by the authority of the Consuls. And man, I drew very, very hot on these last 2 games. I have to admit that. This is very similar to the deck that I played last week on Playing on a Budget, isn't it? Very, very similar. More of a Goblins route for sure, which is definitely an avenue. And there's the concession. Hope you enjoyed this match. It's Kevin with GatheringMagic.com. Thanks for watching.